On the Thursday before Jesus was crucified, he met with his disciples in the upper room. As the evening meal was being served, John chapter 13 tells us that Judas Iscariot, that the devil had already entered him, and he knew what he was going to do. But Jesus took off his outer garments. He got up from the table. He got a basin. He got a pitcher of water, and he wrapped a towel around his waist. And he went to each of his disciples who would have been seated around a low table, similar to a coffee table. They would have been sitting on the floor. And Jesus went to each of them and he began to wash their feet and dry them with the towel. He came to Simon Peter, and Simon Peter said, "Well, you're not going to wash my feet." And Jesus told him that unless I wash your feet, you have no part in me. And so Simon said, "Well, then, if that's the case, wash my hands and wash my head as well." But Jesus said, "No, somebody's had a bath. They're clean. All but their feet. Just their feet needs to be washed." And Jesus said, "I know you're clean. All of you are clean except for one." And Jesus was referring to Judas Iscariot, who would betray him. John's Gospel tells us that Jesus washed every one of their feet, and then he returned and put on his clothes, and he sat down, and he told them, or he asked them, "Do you know or realize what I've done for you? You call me Master and Lord. And that's the right thing to do because that's what I am. I'm your Master and Lord. But I've washed your feet. So now that I, your Master and Lord, have washed your feet, you go out and you wash other people's feet. For no servant is greater than his master." There's a lot can be said about this, but if washing feet is all we get out of it, we're missing the point. Usually on Thursday of Holy Week, churches around the world meet and they wash feet. But if washing feet's all of it, we're missing it. This is about service. Jesus says no servant is greater than his master. If we're going to do the will of the Lord, then we need to serve others. Not just feet washing. There's not a lot of people I know that need their feet washed. But there's a lot of people in this world who are hungry. There's a lot of people in this world who don't have shoes. There's a lot of people in this world who don't have decent clothes to wear. And Jesus says you need to serve them. Notice the people whose feet he washed. Jesus washed the feet of John. John was the closest disciple that Jesus had, the one that Jesus loved. He washed the feet of Peter. Peter was the one who would later deny that he even knew him. Later on that night, Jesus knew that, but he washed his feet anyway. He washed the feet of Judas. Judas was around that table, and he knew that the devil had already entered him and that Judas was going to be the one that would betray him with a kiss. The point is this: we are called to serve because we're servants of the Master, and we're not greater than he is. We need to go out and serve those who need our help, and it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they're people that we don't like, people we don't like to be around, people that we don't usually associate with. It doesn't matter. We're called to serve because no servant is greater than his master, and our master is Jesus Christ. Thanks and God bless.